I tried. Does it say we live on your end? Hold on. All right, y'all, man. Listen, I tried. I tried to stay away from talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't know the Twitter people. They keep reeling me back in. I wanted to turn the page and go to Carolina Panthers, but I do have a discussion because maybe I overvalue Jimmy Garoppolo, what he is and what. Now we're going to talk about all that and more. And I got a special guest coming on with me to discuss that and how it pertains to the 49ers against the Carolina Panthers, who 49ers open up 6.5 point favorites on the road. We're going to talk about all that and more right now on San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace. Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers, a.k.a. the Jimmy Garoppolo Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker, and I appreciate everybody who's already in the chat going up, numbers going up, everybody tuned in. I'm excited, man, and it's always a lot more fun talking about the 49ers after a win, so I appreciate everybody that is joining in right now. I do have a special guest about to join me and kind of help me unravel these thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo, who I felt like Jimmy G. I think he's a solid quarterback. I see a lot of people in the chat before this, and they're like, oh, he gives you the best chance to win. Everybody on TV, they say he gives you the best chance to win. I still have some questions about the offense, and I'm like, well, why isn't the offense working? And I think it might come back to, Croc, you might be overvaluing what Jimmy Garoppolo is and what he isn't. Or maybe he's just a little rusty still, all right? So, forget all that. Forget my thoughts. I'm going to have my guy, Jason DePonte, come on and talk to me about what exactly it is that I'm going through. I tell people, don't ride the roller coaster of emotions as it pertains to the 49ers and the fan base and all that stuff, man. But Aponte, what the hell is going on? And why are so many people on these, just some people on this side, some people on this side, and I'm somewhere like stuck in the middle?
I think that that's the right way that everybody should be valuing Jimmy Garoppolo because, as I've said many times, this discussion has gotten so polarizing that you can only be on this side or this side and not in between, which is where Jimmy Garoppolo is. And I've said this many times. He's nowhere near as good as his biggest supporters say, and he's nowhere near as bad as his biggest haters say, right? The reason that I can't even really wrap my mind around why it's so polarizing and why there needs to be a discussion about a guy that I have stopped thinking about and dissecting because I know what he is for the last 3 years. That's it. I don't understand why we need to continuously talk about a guy when everybody who has two eyes, a brain, and know a little bit about football, look at Jimmy Garoppolo and know what he is. That's why I don't get mad anymore when there's a missed throw. That's why I don't get mad anymore when there's a guy running down the field wide open. I don't get mad anymore when Debo houses a 65-yard touchdown and say, well, what did Jimmy do on that play? This is Jimmy Garoppolo, guys. This is him. And you know what's the best part about this? Is when he came back, I literally was relieved. You know why? Because I don't have to critically think about Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. And what I mean by that is I know what he is. I know what his capabilities are. I know what his limitations are. The discussion is largely wasting time about trying to dissect a quarterback that has put so much on film that it's already all there for you. He's not going to be anything more than what you think he is, and he's not going to be anything less. He's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. And as a 49er fan, you've got to come to grips with it, and you've got to stop trying to make this discussion happen. That's it. It's just, look, he is who he is. He's a middle-tier quarterback who, when things are right and plays clean football, can win games like you saw on Monday Night Football. But sometimes when you need a little bit extra, when the defense isn't playing as well, or circumstances dictate that you have to throw the ball a little bit more. Sometimes you don't want him to be in that spot, but he is what he is. And I don't have time to continue to reiterate what everybody should know about Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. I really don't, man. I don't.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that was excellent. And those are my thoughts as well. When I'm watching the game, I think there's been one time in the last, in the sense of like getting emotional about what I'm seeing from Jimmy Garoppolo. And it was excuse me, I just drank my protein shake, but it was the interception against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. That was like the one time where I actually kind of yelled at my TV, yelling at Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm in there watching the game by myself. And I'm just like, you can't do that. Like, you can't be late trying to throw on a move. You know you don't have that arm to drill that in there. Like, you can't do that. Aside from that, in my emotional outburst in that moment, I have not cared about what Jimmy gives you or what he, because I understand what he is and what he isn't. Right now, even I think understanding what he is and what he isn't, I maybe still overvalued him a little bit. That's what someone told me. And that is pertaining to my question I asked on social media. And it has like probably, I don't know, 300 comments on there. It's something crazy. But I asked if Kyle Shanahan, essentially I put it on Kyle Shanahan. Because I'm looking at some people and everybody told me that Jared Goff is better than Jimmy G. And I mean, excuse me. Everybody told me Jimmy G is better than Jared Goff. And Jimmy G is better than these other quarterbacks or whatever. But I'm like, well, why can't the 49ers score points? And maybe it's because Jimmy didn't have an offseason, didn't have a playbook, etc. So he's still kind of getting in the groove. But I feel like under Jimmy Garoppolo, the more he has to throw, the 49ers just struggle to score a lot of points. And you look at this offense right now with Deebo Samuel, with George Kittle, with Brandon Ayuk, they are really struggling to score. And I just watched Jalen Ramsey on Uninterrupted. And he talked about the game. And he said something that I felt at my core, and I'm like, I feel that, Ramsey. Like, I feel that. And he talked about the game, and he's like, man, they had two explosive plays. Like, that's it. You had a run, and you had a crazy play by Deebo. They scored 3 points in the second half. And he's like, man, maybe if I make that tackle, make them work, things go a different way. And I looked at that like, you can't, the 49ers won. You can't take that from them. But as it pertains to this offense, it's not good right now. Who does that fall on? Does it fall on Kyle Shanahan or does it fall on Jimmy, who Kyle Shanahan didn't want to start? Now, I think it's very clear why, because everybody, they made their speculations and everything, right? No, he really wants Jimmy, but then that's why he kept him around and then trade. Like, no, I think right now we're seeing kind of what Jimmy is and the limitations in it. I think people understand it a lot more now, but he wanted Trey Lance to be the guy, and he wanted to build on that. And it sucks he doesn't have that opportunity. But why do you think the offense isn't firing a little bit better right now? Is it just because Jimmy's still rusty, or is it like, nah, this is what he is, and it's going to be tough to, score a lot of points, and winning that big game is going to be even more difficult?
I think it's a lot of things. And I think that some of it can be attributed to rust. Some of it can be attributed to that this run game is not exactly as potent as it has been. I mean, if you want to speculate and say that that's because Elijah Mitchell isn't there and what he brought to the offense, Jeff Wilson, I thought did a great job. But the run game is not what it is. And look, the book is out, right? Again, we're going to go right back to Jimmy Garoppolo. The book's out. Everybody knows, right? Like, everybody knows. Get in there, 5-man fronts, 5-1, 6-1. Make him throw the ball, okay? Which is kind of what made me feel like, what are you doing as the Rams? Like, 3rd and 2, you've got guys 5 and 7 yards back, so just run the underneath slant and just boom, and it's a 3rd down conversion. I didn't really understand what the Rams' game plan was, especially when they put so many good things in the NFC title game on tape in terms of how, it's viewed. Guys are still running wide open. It doesn't bother me anymore, okay? Once you guys accept that fact that that's going to be there, you're going to feel much better. I promise you. Things are going to, the air's going to taste better. Your coffee's going to taste better. I promise you. Everything's going to be fine. But if you don't believe that Kyle doesn't, they've been trying to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo for how many years, right? I mean, it's been speculated, 2019, Tom Brady. They went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. And then Tom Brady might have come available and all that speculation. We know what was going on with them trying to speculate on Matthew Stafford. And then they moved heaven and earth to get the number 3 pick to move on from Garoppolo. So for the people that always tell me, well, he always wanted Jimmy, how can you say that when objectively they've been trying to move on from the guy? And it's not that he's terrible. They need more. And that's what it's always going to boil down to, is things in this league are not going to be perfect. Your defense is not going to be lights out every single week, even though I think this defense is the best one. And we can have a discussion, the best one in a long time for the 49ers. We might have to go back to like 94, 95 if we're talking. And that's not disrespecting 2012 or any of those guys.
It's disrespecting 2012 a little bit, but go ahead.
No, all right. So maybe I am. But hey, maybe I'm prisoner of the moment. But I love what I see from the secondary, and I love what DeMeco Ryans is doing right now, man. But at the same time, what this offense is based on is on the run game, right? And we've talked about this. The years that the 49ers have made it, or any Kyle Shanahan-led team has made it, they have been at the bottom in passing attempts, and they've been at the top at rushing attempts. The rushing attack isn't exactly potent. Now, the thing becomes this. It's the chicken and the egg. Do you have Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball a little bit more to open up the run? Like, throw the run, if that makes any sense, because you have to lighten those boxes?
Right.
Or do you just keep trying to jam it in there like 1 or 2 yards? Like, Jeff Wilson had an explosive run, had like maybe one more run. After that, this running game is losing a little bit of its punch. Like, even the Debo runs aren't necessarily working the same way because Kyle Shanahan came out and said everybody's in on it. Look, if Jimmy can execute the offense in the way that you saw on Monday, right? And I understand in the second half, the offense largely stalled. You know, there was a missed field goal in there as well, too. They probably would have scored more points that way, right? I would have loved for Kyle to go for it on 4th down. That would have showed killer instinct and completely stepped on the Rams' neck. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Hufanga closed it out. Game winner, right? But as long as Jimmy Garoppolo's here, he has to do 2 things. Manage the game and don't turn the ball over. So essentially, what they need from Jimmy Garoppolo is for him to be a game manager and make 1 or 2 throws. That's it. And don't throw the ball away. Don't throw the ball away. But that's a dangerous game because sometimes you're not always going to be in the lead. You're going to have to play from behind, especially when you're playing better teams. You're going to have to throw the ball and get back in the game. And that's when things get scary. So as long as the 49ers are controlling the clock and they are controlling the game with their defense, Jimmy Garoppolo is perfect for that. The problem comes in, and this is why Kyle Shanahan has been trying to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, is what happens when you need a little bit more, when you need your quarterback to throw the ball and get down the field and score again. I know he did it in Week 18 against the Rams, for sure. You know, you can't take that away from Jimmy. He balled out at the end of that game. But do you want him in that position over and over and over? And one more thing about the Jared Goff and Jimmy thing. Would you agree, Croc? There's an elite tier of quarterbacks, right? We don't have to name them. You guys know who they are, right? After that, doesn't it feel like a lot of these guys are interchangeable week to week? Like 1 week, it could be Derek Carr at the top of this list. The next week, he could be at the bottom of this list. Tannehill could be at the top. Cousins could be at the top. Jimmy could be at the top, right? Like, they're all interchangeable after. Like, so when everybody talks about, oh, you need an elite quarterback, that's why there's only 5 to 7 of them. And everybody else is kind of just stacked up in the same.
I'd say the top 10.
10. Okay, after 10.
I think if you were to name off the top 10 quarterbacks, whoever you think the top 10 guys are, I think those are guys that are like they are staying put. Mm-hmm. And then outside of that, yeah, that's when it gets a little weird. Real quick, name your top 10.
Oh, Josh Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, Herbert,
Aaron Rodgers, Tom
Brady. Okay, so 6, 7. Not Russ. He's not in there. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for me to get to 10 because some people would say, all right, you got to throw Dak in there. You got to throw Russ in there. I don't see Russ in that category right now. I don't think he's playing that well this year. Dak is injured. Kyler Murray should be in this discussion, but he's not playing very well. So again, it's like you get this like chunk of elite guys where you can name all those guys, and that's 7 that we got to, right? After that, now, even the last 3, you kind of have a debate as to who would be there.
Joe Burrow, guys like that.
Right? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's cool. You can throw Burrow in there too. But again, it all these guys feel interchangeable at certain points, right? Like you mentioned Jared Goff. Jared Goff's offense is humming, and Amon-Ra St. Brown hasn't played, and they get to do these free things. Like DeAndre Swift was injured, like they still put up points. So it depends on really sometimes game script, how things go, but everybody feels interchangeable, man, after that elite group, in my opinion. So that's why it's so hard to get hung up on like, oh, well, Jimmy's better than this guy. Jimmy's better than this guy. Yeah, well, 1 week Jimmy's better than Cousins. The next week Cousins is better than Jimmy. And then Carr's better than all of them. And then Carr's the worst. Like, they're all like in that same mid-tier, man. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. We got to circle back and mention something that you talked about. But before we do that, shout out to my guy Brian Peacock. He says too early for this much handsome.
Yo, give that man his Twitter back, please. Twitter. I'm
Yeah,
talking to
man,
you.
free Brian
Stop playing.
Peacock.
Stop playing,
Free
man.
Brian Peacock,
Can we
man.
bring my guy back, man? I need snarky tweets. I need shadow draft stuff. I need it, man. I need the content. Where's that?
I know, man. They're trying to hate on my dog Peacock. It's really confused. Like how it's like how I get hacked and then y'all punish me and don't give me my account back.
Insane.
Like there should be some kind of verification. But the person changed his email. They changed all that.
Damn.
But it's like Twitter. You guys got to be able to help me. Like clearly I've been hacked.
Right. Like, that's got to be one of these Rams nut jobs that was in my post game comments or whatever. Like yo, I've never seen a Super Bowl team cry more after one loss ever in my life, man. These Rams fans are jumping out the window, man. Oh my God.
Well, they need to listen to Jalen Ramsey on Uninterrupted because he talked about it and said, he's like, dude, this one game doesn't define us. Just like one game doesn't define us, one bad route, one bad tackle or missed tackle, one bad throw, that doesn't define us. We know who we are, and get better, et cetera, et cetera. A short week, got to turn it back around. So I actually thought it was a great episode of Uninterrupted. I do have another question for you, but before we get to that, got my guy B&A Music here, and he says, we just got to hope Fungus score more touchdowns.
Hey, waiting on the diss track, yo. Kyle sneak dissing you in the press conference, B&A. I'm waiting. You got to respond. Yeah, I said you had 24 hours. You going on days now, bro. You got to get in that booth.
Oh, man, he got to get in the booth, right?
He got to get in the booth. He got to air it out.
We are about to get into, talking a little bit about the Carolina Panthers, but you mentioned something, and you said that you believe, hold on, before we get into that, guys, super chat. I believe Kyle will get Kittle more involved once he is 100%. Do you think it's an injury why Kittle's not more involved, or you think? I mean, to me at least, it feels like this how things have gone. Like it's been very hit and miss with his production, with his targets. And last year, somehow, some way, he still almost had 1,000 yards. I think a lot of it had to do with kind of a 2-game span where I feel like he had like 400 yards in those 2 games. But outside of that, I mean, there's games where you got three targets, 2 targets. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Last game, 4 targets, only 2 receptions. So what are your thoughts on the usage of George Kittle?
I'm probably going to attribute it to the injury, but I want people to stop saying this because he's in pass blocking. He only pass blocked on 6 routes, on 6 passing plays, and he ran a bunch of routes. So is he not getting separation? Is Jimmy not seeing him? It's baffling right now, but I think that you can attribute it right now to the injury, and you have to give him time to get back up to speed. So it's not necessarily that he was in there pass blocking the entire time, because the numbers just don't bear that out. Like it was 6 passing attempts that he stayed in pass block for. So I mean, this idea that everybody's like, well, he's not running routes. He's running routes. It's there, but he's not exactly getting all the separation he needs right now. And I don't know if Kyle is trying to get him involved, but I'm not going to speculate on that because I'm not in the room. I don't know if they're like scheming it up just for him. But there was that there's 2 really good throws in this game from Jimmy Garoppolo. The first Kittle catch was beautiful because right before the route breaks off, he throws with anticipation. And that's what you want to see, right? Over the middle of the field. The linebacker is still in front of him, but he knows he has the leverage and he's getting over there. So Jimmy bangs it on him. And then there's a throw that doesn't count for the touchdown that everybody is just looking at Ayuk, on a great route, on that whip route. But those are good throws. And how would the narrative change if Kittle gets that second foot down? Right? So again,
even me, maybe I'm not complaining about the offense not putting up enough points.
Yeah, it's close. It's close. I think it's coming. And I think that once you get into a rhythm and, I'm not trying to disrespect other teams, but Carolina and Atlanta back to back, you've got a really good chance to get your offense rolling a little bit more because you're going to need it going into that Chiefs game. And I still believe in this 49ers defense.
Real quick, where was Johnny's comment at right here? Johnny says, Cal Hurd is talking about Jimmy and Trey. Why is he talking about Trey Lance?
Who cares?
I don't know why when I first read that I thought it said Jimmy and Kittle.
Guys, we gotta do something, and this is something that I've been trying to tell myself. Like I look myself in the mirror. You know that meme, like the guy pointing in the mirror. This is me to me, and this is me to you. Stop giving this guy breath, air, oxygen. If he says something that is stupid, just let it go. Don't quote tweet it. Don't put the video up. Don't dunk on him. He doesn't care. He's just trying to get whatever it is that he can out of his attention. This conversation that he's having, whatever is happening on his show right now, is literally definition of attention seeking. Trey Lance isn't here. Why are we discussing Trey Lance, man? Like, I don't get that part of it. Like, that was the part that helped.
Brett is in a wheelchair.
Right. Like, and my thing is, it's like, I was relieved a little bit when it came to like, okay, Jimmy's here. Now we don't have to talk about, I don't want to see Brock Purdy, by the way, guys. I don't want to see Brock Purdy. Now, I don't have to talk about the guy behind him anymore, right? Because at least last year, we're like, man, you got to play Trey. Jimmy's not, we had that conversation. But for people to rehash this conversation, it's only for the attention. It's only to get 49 fans riled up on Twitter and just quote tweet him and just say, hey, you're a bozo. And hey, he smashed your daughter, whatever it is. So just don't do it. Just don't do it. Let it go. Mute him. Send his ass off and let him just do his thing, man. Please.
Here we go. We got Swan Song, and he says, while trying to win a race, building an offense around Jimmy is like getting aftermarket suspension, tires, and rims for a Ford Escort engine.
Y'all are so shady, man. Why? Oh, my God. Why? You would know better than me about cars, so explain this one to me, Croc.
Nah, I mean, I know that I have a Dodge Charger with a Hemi, but that's all I know. Well, I know it has a 5.7 liter engine. I don't know much more than that. If I had to guess here, aftermarket is stuff where it's like you are enhancing the car, but then you're putting it on a Ford Escort like engine, which that's not going to push, right? Ford Escort probably got like a 4-cylinder. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming here you're trying to enhance a vehicle that doesn't really have the capability of being enhanced. So that's what I think he's saying here.
Okay. Y'all are so shady, man.
And I think that's
my guy.
Pretty accurate, right? Because the Ford Escort is like, it's a good car, good on gas, get you from point A to point B, not the sexiest, but it ain't gonna give you much. And after you have a car like, I have my Charger, and it has a strong engine. When you drive a car with a strong engine and then you drive a Ford Escort, you feel there's a big difference. And like, sometimes like I'll pull out. Maybe I'm not supposed to really pull out right now, but it doesn't matter because I got the strong ass engine and I'm able to just pull away. In the Ford Escort, you can't. It's like when you do that and then the car just like comes up on your ass because you just can't get away. And I think that is kind of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
All right, here we go. But anyways, finally, we're going to get to your question. Or not even question, the question I have for you, because you tried to sneak it in, you tried to sneak it by, but you said, pause, my bad. But you just said that this is the best defense the 49ers have had since 1994?
Yeah. So look, 2012, I get it, right? Justin Smith, Alden Smith is all world, right? And many 49ers players have said that he's the best football player they've ever seen play the game at any position. Heard that come out of people's mouth. LeVar Bowman, Patrick Willis, come on, stop it. Ahmad Brooks, I get it. Where did those teams lack, though, in 2012?
You're going to say the cornerbacks.
Yeah. Yes. Look, Carlos Rogers was a reclamation project. He did very well for this team. Remember, Washington, he was a Pro Bowler, and then they cast him off, and he became a Pro Bowler again with this team. Chris Culliver, Terrell Brown. Okay. Jimmy Ward hasn't taken a snap yet. Tashawn Gibson's been incredible, and Mooney and Charvarius and Jason Verrett might be back. They are so deep at the corners. They have not had this group of cornerbacks this good since 1994. I'm sorry. Look, Dion and Eric Davis, right? And then the rest of the secondary, Tim McDonald, Merton Hanks, you got it, right? But it's been a long time. So now you can marry this pass rush that you see right now. Nick Bosa's on his way to a historic season. You see Charles Omenihu growing. Ebukam's balling. Eric Armstead's barely playing. Javon Kinlaw's been out, but they continuously get pressure, and now they can cover on the back end. I'm going to give the nod right now as a prisoner of the moment to this defense, as long as they're healthy this way.
This is why I'm going to disagree with you. Mm-hmm. Because although I think the 49ers, if you just go level by level, I think overall you could say it's maybe a more talented defense. I don't even know the word for it. But I'd say they complement each other maybe better in the sense of at each level, right? But the front seven on those teams were so good that it's like I can't put. It was like great. Like Justin Smith, great. Alden Smith, great. Navarro Bowman, great. Patrick Willis, great. And then you had even the other guys that weren't like great, but like Ahmad Brooks, hella good. Ray McDonald, hella good. And then you look at even the safeties though. Deshaun Goldson, I'd say he's great because he was like my favorite player during that time. But Deshaun Goldson and Dante Hittner, like they were, so if you want to say, well, yeah, they kind of lacked a little bit on the outside, like, yeah, but everybody else was so great. And I don't think they've, like, right now, you look and it's like, Nick Bosa, great. And then it's like, everybody else is like, good.
But all right, so
good.
Look, here's my pushback to that, right? In 2019, this defense had a front four that I don't think can be topped, right? Armstead, Buckner, Bosa, Ford, right? But I would argue that this defensive line is deeper, and the reason that they're so good down the stretch of games is because they've got fresh legs rotating, right? Hugh's growing. Kevin Gibbons has stepped up while Kinlaw and Armstead have been out. And you look at the way that this is gonna where I'm gonna give the edge. No disrespect to Vic Fangio, but DeMeco is doing things week to week with personnel against different personnel and styling his game plan to that. And he's making correct play calls at the right time, man. I think the real edge is not only the cornerbacks, but DeMeco right now is performing at a level that, Vic Fangio never blitzed, right? And not that DeMeco's blitzing a ton, but on 3rd and 14, what would you expect Vic Fangio to do? Just let that front four go get him and everybody just back up,
Right.
But DeMeco's dialing it up. Like, he's sending Demo, and he's like sending.
You're saying DeMeco Ryan's better defensive coordinator than Vic Fangio?
I'm saying he's performing this year better than I've seen Vic Fangio over that time.
And I'm not saying you're wrong. Even if you were to say I think he's better. I ain't saying. I mean, he's been great in his first year and a quarter of the season.
Right. Took him a little while last year to get going, but I feel like really when it all locked in for him was that Cincinnati game. You got Embry Thomas out there for the first time, and you've got to go send him against Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, and those guys, right? And you've got to find a way to get him and Josh Norman not put on islands, and he did that. He changed things around, ran a little bit more zone, shaded things over. Now, that when that personnel doesn't suit that game plan, he changes it up, runs a little bit more man, is blitzing at the right times. I just think that DeMeco right now is just like locked in. Like, he's seeing defensively like the Matrix, bro. Like, he's seeing the green things come down or whatever, the green code, and like he's seeing it differently. So yeah, DeMeco and the corners are the reason that I'm gonna give this the edge. And sure, it's a prisoner of the moment take. People are gonna kill me for it, but it's just how I'm feeling today, man.
No, there are actually a lot of people in there talking about the secondary. I think people are kind of being disrespectful to that secondary. That's what I think.
I think people remember those playoff games where the defense, Justin Smith was injured, and he wasn't exactly himself. And they did give up a bunch of points in those playoffs, right? Like Alex Smith, that defense was really good, but Alex Smith still had to put up 30-something against the Saints and find a way to beat them. And then the same thing, like when Cap was there, the Packers put up 31, the 49ers just put up 42, and it's just like it's.
I think they put up 24.
All right.
And one of them was a pick six by Kaepernick on the first play of the game.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
So they gave up 17 points to the Packers.
Super Bowl, the Ravens, right? Like, again, guys were injured, right? Like, but
there was a kickoff return for a touchdown. There was a pick, damn near a pick six by Ed Reed. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel
Jacoby Jones over the top though. Like, he gets up and he runs past everybody.
Okay, he got Chris Culliver.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I will say this because I see people in the chat right now. And they're like, "Oh, this secondary is way better." I'm not going to go that far because, one, Deshaun Goldson, probably in 2012, was an all-pro safety. He had like 6 interceptions. He was an all-pro. Whitner was a Pro Bowler like 3 or 4 straight years. I mean, and all-pro means more than Pro Bowl, but like those guys were good and people feared them, right? And not just feared them. Again, Goldson was taking the ball away. He had like 6 picks. And then you look at Carlos Rogers in the nickel. He was really good. Now, he did have a little trouble with Salsa Man, Victor Cruz that one time. Mm-hmm. But, like...
Victor Cruz is good, though.
He was good.
Nothing wrong with that.
Terrell Brown was... I feel like people are sleeping on that secondary. They're sleeping on it. And people do this. It reminds me of George Kittle, right? George Kittle is such a great run blocker that people say, oh, man, he's a great run blocker. He's great run after catch, but he's not a great route runner and stuff. And it's like, what? Like, do y'all watch George Kittle? Like, he is a terrific route runner. Like, George Kittle is a good route runner. He creates separation. Now, if we're saying maybe he's a little banged up right now, like, and so he's not creating separation, I get it. But George Kittle, and I think people are doing that because, well, that front was so good. And also the secondary, it's like, no, like, they were good. They were good. Terrell Brown was good. Culliver was up and down. I'll give you the Culliver. You know what I'm saying? Tremaine Brock, you know what I'm saying? But with how good Goldson and Whitner were, I feel like I'm looking at y'all in the chat right now. Y'all getting a little disrespectful. So I got to go with 2012.
All right, I hear you, but here's
Mike Shields says I'm biased towards Goldson. I might be. I think Goldson has gotten a lot of disrespect because everybody again, it's the Kittle effect. Goldson was such a big hitter. It's like, oh no, there's no way. Oh, he's a liability in coverage. They might remember one player or not. And it's like, nah, Goldson, I thought he was pretty good in coverage.
And look, and through 4 games, Talanoa Hufanga has been incredible, man, at everything, man. Run stopping, you didn't
like Hufanga at first, huh?
I didn't. It's not that I didn't. I had questions, and I want to reiterate this. The man is playing incredible.
You said he sucked.
I did not say that ever once. So do not do that. Do not do that. If I gotta hold this L, I'm gonna hold the L. But I am.
Okay, I'm messing. He did not say. He didn't say he sucked.
But what I did, at least say that I needed to see from him is exactly what he's doing. He has to play with more instinct, and he understands what he's seeing. Like he diagnosed that screen so quickly, and he gets to play and fire up. Like he's balling. So when you add the fact that Jimmy Ward still hasn't played, and I think we all think the world of him, I think the discussion becomes, how is this secondary not going to take steps forward now? And then Jason Verrett's just there, like house money now at this point. Like he doesn't even have to like jump right in. And I think we know when Jason Verrett is at his best, he's still a very productive cornerback in this league. So the depth, if God forbid there's an injury to Mosley, God forbid there's an injury to Charvarius Ward, now you have a guy that you can just slot right back in there and don't have to rush. And I don't think that many teams have that. So yeah, the secondary is going to be the reason. And really, D'Amico Ryans in the way he's been dialing this up. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily just be Nick Bosa against the left tackle. He's dialing up stunts where guys are getting double teamed and getting Nick Bosa free run. Like that stuff is the things that I'm looking at right now. And I'm like, man, this is so creative. And he's doing it week to week against different personnel.
So real quick, how good can Talanoa Hufanga be?
Oh man, I mean, if I look,
hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me rewind real quick. Not so much how good. Okay, I know what you've seen from him so far. Mm-hmm. We've all seen it. How do you project this playing out for at least the rest of this season? Like, what things are you like, okay, I still want to see this or I still want to see that, but I think he's doing this well right now. Like, give me that.
Well, right now he's playing with instinct, and that's beautiful. That's exactly what you need. And I think he's done such a good job of being able to diagnose things right away. Like how is it that you have a handoff and he's already in the backfield hitting somebody, right? He notices something on film and he's been playing that way, firing off the ball.
It almost feels like there's 229s out there.
Yes, absolutely. And that is something that you wanted to see from him, right? Like, and I think that the overwhelming perception was, well, they just leave him in the box. I've seen him kind of carry Tyler Lockett, and that's the reason that, and Tyler Lockett is low-key fast. Like, Tyler Lockett.
Incredible play. That's probably even more so than the pick six. Mm-hmm. Just talking about, like, just the difficulty of a play. That Tyler Lockett play, which he really should have had that third pick. It should have been his second interception at the time, but he should have 3 picks right now.
Yeah.
That was the most impressive thing that I've seen so far from Talanoa Hufanga. So, it was that difficult. Like, it was a difficult play.
Right now, we're in week 4. There's 4 weeks of tape out. So you have to think, there's going to be adjustments made by offenses. They're going to find things that they either want to see from him in the same way, whether that is, hey, how can we get him one-on-one with our guy and make him do this, right? He has done it, but the 49ers have done such a great job schematically of using him and disguising him, and then he's fast enough to get over. But what about the times when it's obvious where he's going to be, and how are you going to go after? Like, so I don't think that he's going to have a drop-off. What I want to see is when the league adjusts and they start to change the game plan to attack different places because you're like, okay, this hasn't been working. We're not going to try this anymore. Now I want to see him adjust back because that's what it's always going to be about, is about adjusting to what they've seen. And the more and more you put on film, people are going to find things that either are a tell or something like that. Not saying that I see that. I'm just saying what's going through the mind of people who game plan. I don't think that he's going to have a drop-off at all, but I do want to see what happens when they put him in a place where he has to be on an island the whole time by himself, which usually doesn't happen.
Right. Now, they do a really good job with that. And but again, he was on the island against Tyler Lockett. And for those of you who don't know exactly the play we're talking about, matter of fact, I should bring it up because, I mean, it was such an amazing play. Hold on. Let me pull that down because I know I tweeted somebody earlier today. So, and I kind of talked about that play. So we could kind of go through why I feel like it was so impressive with what he did. All right, but let me find the play. Boom, here we go. All right, bring it up now and just, oh, gosh, Tim McDonald. And I know a lot of you know Tim McDonald from the 49ers and playing safety for the Niners. But he was my defensive back coach when I was with the New York Jets. All right, Tim McDonald was my defensive back coach when I was with the Jets. And he would say this thing that I thought was really weird. When like something like great happened and it was like a good play where there's a big hit or somebody, and he was like, "Oh man, like that gave me a hard on." And I always thought that was hella weird. Like, whoa, coach, like you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? You're tripping. But when you see things like this, it's like I won't say this gave me a hard on, but it's like I get it. I get the reference that he was going with. All right, so let's kind of talk through this a little bit here. Amazing play. So you got Talanoa Hufanga. All right, first let's look how they show. Right now, it looks like they're showing a too high, maybe a cover 4 look. All right, because you got a guy here. Maybe you think he's going to push out to the flats, You got too high or whatever. They can combo some of these things. However they play, but it looks like a cover 4 look. All right, initially. Now, Geno Smith's looking at the defense, etc. All right, and he's blitzing.
Yeah.
So we're man-to-man here.
Pretty much.
All right, you are man-to-man across the board with one safety single high, pretty much. He's not even single high. He's just to one side. So what does that mean? And this is why this is the most impressive play I've seen so far from Talanoa Hufanga. He's had a lot of good plays. He is man-to-man in the slot with space against Tyler Lockett.
On a crosser. And it's usually because the crosser usually bangs open on this one a little bit, right?
Well, and not just the fact that's on the crosser. He don't know what he's gonna do. He can run a crosser. He can run a straight seam route. He can run an out route and maybe get a drag. Whatever he does, Brad, he got all this space with no help, and he sits on it. Pause. All right. So he's essentially playing a catch technique against Tyler Lockett in space. I can't stress how difficult this is. This is extremely difficult. This will be difficult for me. Well, I wasn't very good, but this will be difficult for Emmanuel Mosley. This would be difficult for Mooney. I would say, you know what? I don't want Mooney in that type of situation. Let's say if he did it and got a cut. Like, well, yeah, of course. Like he's not. This is difficult to do. He squats on the route. Look, this is a man break. He's playing man here. Look at this is a man turn down here. He's man to man. You got one guy that's to help everybody. You got a safety. He's to the far hash. You got no help here. This was so impressive. So for a guy who a lot of people said, oh, he's a liability in coverage. And I remember he got beat against Arizona, Christian Kirk Minnesota. On like this route where it started like in the slot and he just kind of ran straight across. And a lot of people use that as like, well, he can't cover because of this play. Like, see, this is, and I would say, okay, maybe that is confirming some people's prior concerns. But it was one play. And I thought outside of that, he played well. All right. But anyways, for him to do this and it result in an interception, this is the most impressive play that I've probably seen from any 49 defender this year because of the level of difficulty. And not just to, okay, I covered well. Undercut the route, nearly picked it off, and then you end up getting an interception by a teammate. So at least you're involved in a takeaway. I mean, I don't know if it gets much better in the sense of, so again, when you ask how, we'll see how people are attacking him. We'll see, but I don't know.
Again, I'm not trying to say that they're trying to single him out in that way. I'm just saying that, like, again, offensive.
No, you're just saying how, like, potentially what teams might try to take advantage of.
Like, if you notice that that's not working, then you might not do that again. Maybe you want to try and run a double move or something like that. See if he jumps. Like, see if you show something on film and kind of bait him into those type of things. But I mean, as of right now, he's playing fast. He's playing instinctually, and his IQ is through the roof because he's been able to diagnose and fire. He's not out there thinking in any way, man. And that's supreme confidence by D'Amico Ryans too, to know that that's what you're showing, and you're like, you know what, Huff got it. And like you said, Gibson's on the far hash. and it's not like he's running trail technique, right? Like he's letting Lockett get behind him, and he knows he's got a guy over the top, right? Like because in trail, and I'm gonna make you proud here, Croc. In trail, you're watching the hips. Pause. And you just want to and you want to keep going with that, right? Because you have a guy over, but you're not letting him get away from you. You're playing underneath, right? Like you're playing behind him, and you got something over the top. But he's not running trail there. He undercuts it because he understood what the route was about to be. He saw something on film, and he jumped it. That is the way that he is winning right now, and that is what is so impressive, in my opinion.
Yeah, nah, that's crazy right there. And I saw we have a question here. It says, Croc and Jason, with Jimmy Ward returning, should the team start him right away or ease him back in?
That's the beauty of this, I think, is they don't have to do anything at this point, right? Especially when you look at the two teams that are on the schedule right now. No disrespect. I keep saying no disrespect, but I'm about to disrespect Baker Mayfield. He's been trash. He's been awful. He's been really bad. Unfortunately, I thought DJ Moore was about to play with the best quarterback he's played with. The survey says absolutely not. So look, you don't need to rush Jimmy Ward back. You're not going to get beat over the top. Deshaun Gibson has been incredible. Now, the flexibility I think that Jimmy Ward could bring them, and I think Richard Sherman is the one who tweeted this out, and I think it's really interesting, and I'm going to float it to you. We know that Jimmy Ward can come down and play nickel. We know that he's great in the run game. And how much do you just maybe leave Gibson out there with Hufanga and you move Jimmy down? And now you really, really are playing like 4D chess now. You have all this flexibility. So I think this is the beauty of this, is that Jimmy Ward doesn't need to come back. When you need Jimmy Ward to be back, it's 3 weeks. The Chiefs. Everybody's got to be back for this Chiefs game, man. You can get by these two games, Carolina and Atlanta. The Chiefs game is when it's going to be all hands on deck, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And I got a couple of people in here that said, Croc, can you show the pass to Kittle in the end zone? And there was another one that someone asked about a pass breakup by Hufanga. And I'm like, I don't got the all 22. Tonight, I'll be live with Greg Pinelli, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So tonight, we'll add some of those plays in there, and maybe I'll show some love to Hufanga as well. Chris here says, he did this in college. That's what a lot of people missed. And Chris, we've talked about it. We did an in-depth film analysis on Talanoa Hufanga in college, but I did not have any of his senior year all 22. I did watch some, YouTube copy film of him from his last year, but I didn't watch the all 22 as I did his junior year. So I watched a ton his junior year, and I saw some things that could have been concerning. Did not watch all 22 from his senior year. So that's on me. Or his last year, whatever that was. Junior year, senior year, whatever.
That college all 22, like, you know how you get that? Is that you meet, that Shadow Smithers, he's smoking a cigarette. You got to meet a guy like that in a back alleyway so you can get it. Like, it's hard to get college all 22, man.
I typically have access to a lot of it, but I didn't at that time. I had a bunch, but not USC for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. So Kelly Young says, Croc, I think yourself and many fans owe Aaron Banks an apology. Young man is balling. And he is playing extremely well. Now, again, I would defend myself with the fact that I never say what a guy is or isn't going to be. I do know that when I evaluated Aaron Banks coming out of college, this is coming out of college. He's 2 years removed now from being in college. But when I evaluated him coming out of college, I did not see him as a fit for what the 49ers did. Matter of fact, it didn't make any sense at all. And they try to lie to us and say, he's big, but he moves like this. And it's like, bro, everything you're saying, I don't see that on film. Matter of fact, I see the complete opposite. Now, he could have took this, and the 49ers agreed with me because the only player that played less snaps that was drafted in the second round that year was Kyle Trask, who was the third string quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the 49ers agree with me that, Croc, your analysis of Banks was actually right. That's why we didn't play him. In a year where we actually wanted to improve the right guard spot, and there was never a competition between him and Daniel Brunskill. All right. All right. But moving forward, and that's why I never say what a guy, he's only going to be this, or he's only going to be that, or he sucks, or he whatever. Well, athletes, they are primed to prove people wrong. Mm-hmm. And he took advantage of whatever off time, etc. He improved his game. Whatever they told him he needs to do, he went and did it. And now you see a better version of him. So I will not apologize to Aaron Banks, but I will thank Aaron Banks for whatever constructive criticism they had of him. He took that to heart, and he did the work. He put the work in. So that's an awesome job by him being a true professional.
Callie, don't let him lie to you, man. He told me off the record Banks is a bust, man. So I don't
Hey, real quick, we're only gonna be on here for 15 more minutes. I'll put the link in the chat real quick. If we have too many people come in, you'll have like a minute or two to kind of get your take off. We talked about different things. Didn't get to the Carolina Panthers game, but we will. I actually have somebody coming on from the Carolina Panthers side tomorrow, so we'll talk with him. But would have liked to talk a little bit more about Carolina. You did touch on the quarterback situation there. Baker Mayfield not being good. Gosh, look, I can't even think of his name right now because their team is just so bad.
DJ
But
Moore.
Number 2.
DJ Moore. My
DJ
guy.
Moore.
Free my guy, man. Oh, my God. What did he ever do to just get played by bad quarterback play? He's open, man. I don't want to hear it. He's open.
And real quick, Brian J says, Croc, looks like you were right about Danny Gray. He's not getting any run.
He's injured, though.
He is injured now. He wasn't getting run before that.
No.
But again, it's the evaluation part was only where he was at then. Mm-hmm. And I never said what Danny Gray will or will not be. Right? It always was about, hey, this is where I think he's at right now, and he can overcome these things if he does X, Y, Z, and he has to work on this. But I did not think he was coming in as the prospect that the 49er fans thought he was. Now, I did see somebody that can be utilized in some type of clear outs or win vertically and run straight. And he showed a couple times, whether it was the preseason game against the Packers or the
Vikings game.
Minnesota Vikings game where he caught the vertical and he caught another pass over the middle. Like, all right, like that's good. Can he be consistent? I thought that was a part where I think he lacks in that department, and there's certain areas where he really has to work on. And if he does, man, you're talking about a great player. You're talking about a great receiver who has legit speed. But I didn't see that yet. All right. Yeah. And hopefully we do see that version of him. Hopefully we do. All right, so we got a bunch of people in here. Everybody's going to have 2 minutes. They come on, and let me pull up a different boom. Nope. Boom. Here we go. All right, everybody come on, and, you got about 2 minutes, and then, we got to get to the next person, and then we'll get out of here right at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, I got to
First up, got my guy Roscoe's. Good morning, man.
What's up, man? What's up, Croc? What's up, Jason?
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Faithful? Jason, I hit you in the DMs, bro, trying to get you to come in my spaces, and you didn't even read my DM.
Dude,
wild.
My DMs are in shambles, and I always tell people, like, if you need a little bit of break from Twitter, like, don't announce it. This ain't the airport. I just been off. Like, I was just telling Croc before we got on, man. I do this for fun. It makes me happy. But when things don't make me happy anymore, like seeing like ugly discourse on Twitter, I just get away from it. So like I just been trying to stay off it. My bad, Chris. I definitely not intentional at all.
Come in my spaces. We'll have good discourse. But
I gotta go pick up my little one. But yeah, I got some stuff to do today.
When I have it, like sometimes at halftime or something. But shout out to the Croc. Shout out to the Faithful, man. We going 3-2 this week. Baker is gonna be in hell. I actually kind of feel bad for him. I feel bad for Christian McCaffrey. For all you fantasy owners, I know you usually want to start your best player. Jason, you may be against this, but I'm contemplating sitting McCaffrey because he probably won't even get nothing. Maybe garbage time stuff. Because the last time he played against us, he had over 100 yards. But, I mean, this is a total different run defense that he's playing. But shout out to Greenlaw. I want to give him and Diamador Lenore a shout out. And also shout out to Aaron Banks. People wrote off Aaron Banks. Look at Aaron Banks. People wrote off Diamador Lenore, which Croc said his future home would be in the nickel. So I wanted to give him a shout out. He had back-to-back good games. Stack those games like you stack those practices. Aaron Banks, keep doing what you're doing. And Greenlaw is a Jesus. He's all over the field. So shout out to him. Shout out to both of y'all. Hopefully y'all have a great Tuesday. Wait, what's today?
Yeah, my days are off too because the 49ers played on Monday. I thought it was Tuesday as well.
Day, huh? Yeah. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Y'all have a great hump day. And as I said this morning on Twitter, win the day.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Appreciate you. Here we go. Next up, we got San Francisco Bay drummer. Good morning, man. How you doing?
What's up, Croc? What's up, Jason? I just had a quick question. Do
What's ever?
y'all think the 49ers should execute a trade for Christian McCaffrey after we demolish him on Sunday? I think him and Debo would like really open up the offense, give Jimmy a check down option and stuff like that.
I think that would be a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
I am not big on just the value of a running back, but that's one guy where I was like, take him top 10. Because I believe, was he in the same, he was in the draft with Solomon Thomas. Was he that draft class?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember I was like, because the 49ers needed so much, right? The 49ers, I mean, they needed receivers, they needed running back. Like that was the first year, and they were tearing everything down. But I'm like, hey, he's 3-1. He's a running back, he's a slot receiver, and he's a return guy. So I just thought, like, at least for the value of what McCaffrey was, you can take him. And right now, I think definitely he's somebody that can fit. I think he can be so versatile in his offense. The 49ers really haven't incorporated the running backs in the passing game. That could change with McCaffrey. So if you're able to go out and get McCaffrey, hell, they done spent money everywhere else on running backs. Tevin Coleman, Jet McKinnon. They drafted guys third round. Go get Christian McCaffrey if possible.
Choice routes all out of the backfield, put linebackers in hell. And I mean, that's what Kyle does better than anybody. He just puts linebackers in hell. Imagine them trying to see that come out of the backfield and him just stuttering up and they don't know where he's going and Jimmy get the ball to him. I love it too, man.
We'd have to see how much he makes now. I know essentially
A
his
lot.
contract was a decent amount, but there's money that they get up front and all that. So how much does he have left? What does that average out to? But he's somebody that could definitely help the 49ers. But unfortunately, he can't stay healthy. 49ers backs can't stay healthy, and that's another issue. But Bay Drummer Boy, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, here we go. Coming up now, we got Joseph. Joseph, good morning.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, just a quick question. And just first off, I just wanted to answer your question about the Niners. I think the Niners are gonna win this week by like double-digit points. I bet a lot, so I'm for sure gonna take them like -6.5. And if they're up to 8 points, I'm still gonna take them. I'm not really scared of the line. Panthers are like 1-3 against the spread, I think, and they're very bad offense. Plus, Niners defense is like great. Which has my question: do you think? Because Richard Sherman made a statement that this might be the best. This might be like a top defense like NFL history. First off, do you think that that's true? And then second off, how do you compare to this defense to like the Harbaugh days?
Well, I'll answer this for Jason Aponte. Clearly, so you must have. Did you just join?
Yeah. I just joined, so I don't know if you guys already talked about this.
Okay, yeah. So Aponte thinks that this will possibly be the 49ers' best defense since 1994. And he talked about it being better than the 2012 team. And he said that respectfully, if there is such a thing when talking about that defense. But we definitely went into kind of the different levels. We disagreed only because I felt like the greatness of that front seven by that team and having really good safeties on the back end outweighs 49ers having really good players at every level on this team. So that was just kind of my opinion. So I think there is a conversation for it though.
And as far as like in history, it's off to a historic start, but I think we shouldn't ignore some context, right? The first game was in the rain. The Bears are not good, whatever. They didn't win that game. Denver's not firing on all cylinders. I think what's really the most impressive, and it's not really the Rams, because the Rams have issues down the field. They don't have anybody who can separate down the field. That's why Cooper Kupp had like 12 catches for like 100 yards. Like everything was like right underneath. Everything was close. That's why it's the Seattle game. Look at what Geno Smith has done every single week with that offense, as opposed to this time against the 49ers. Somehow that's the most impressive performance, because he is right now, his completion percentage is the best in any 4-game stretch. Hold on to your hats, in the game of football history right now.
Yeah, he's like 78%, I think, or something
Shout
crazy.
out to, and he's not checking it down.
Yeah,
He's
he ain't
not
throwing deep balls.
He's throwing the ball down the field. So shout out to Geno Smith, man. They wrote him off. He ain't writing back, man. So I think actually, as much as people, we crap on Seattle and we're like, oh, they're not that good. That was probably the most impressive performance by that defense, because when you look at the other teams, they weren't exactly firing on all cylinders, and the Rams have a major issue with having nobody who can stretch the field. And I don't know what happened to Allen Robinson. I've got to look at and see if he's actually getting open, but it's not working out right now.
Yeah, and I know I only got 2 minutes, but just to kind of respond, Allen
Your
Robinson.
time is up. No, I'm joking. Go ahead. I'm messing with you.
No, but Allen Robinson, man, I have my own podcast, Forgotten Athlete podcast, but I talked about it a little bit on my podcast. But Allen Robinson is just not, to me, he's never been a great separator. He's never been like a great route runner, in my opinion. I think that he's kind of been really overvalued with those like 2 good stints with Blake Bortles, and I feel like he's been overvalued in my opinion. But just talking about the Niners specifically, they don't, in my opinion, and this is just, I'm not trying to diss on the Niners at all. I'm not a really Niner fan. I'm a Raider fan for the most part, but I'm not trying to diss on the Niners. But I would say,
what does that mean? Like, well, I'm not really a Niner fan, but I'm a Raider fan for the most part.
Well, okay, because last year I went to the Lambeau game in the playoffs.
Oh wow.
Because so I support the Niners. I'm not saying I'm not like a Niner hater. Like, I'm not one of those Raider fans.
You're a football fan.
Hold on. Can I ask a question that hopefully is not too personal? Is your significant other a 49ers fan?
She don't like football.
Oh, all right. That's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it was leading you over there.
No. But I was gonna say, like, they don't have the same type of hard hitting guys that at least from my experience, the hardball Niners did, and that's like, I think that's the differentiator between the two teams. And I think that the front seven is a lot better in this era than it was in that past era. But that's saying a lot because of Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, 2 Hall of Famers with those 2 guys. And then I forget the guy's name from Cincinnati they had, Justin Smith.
Justin Smith.
Yeah. So they had a huge talent, like Hall of Fame talent. But in terms of like Bosa, I forget the guy's name, not Armstead, but the other guy that filled in for Armstead.
Kevin Gibbons.
Kevin Gibbons, yeah. Even he's looking good. So it's just like they have an overall great balance. And DeMeco Ryans, he needs a head coaching job as like a black head coach, as like someone who's gonna get one, I think. So
he ain't slipping through the cracks this year.
No. He's gone. Unfortunately,
he's for sure name on par.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, man. Appreciate you coming on, Joseph. What's the name of your podcast?
Forgotten Athlete Podcast. It's on.
Say it one more time.
Forgotten Athlete Podcast.
Forgotten Athlete Podcast.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's on YouTube, and then also if you guys want, I have a podcast, Instagram page, TikTok page, and by the way, just want to shout out myself. On Sundays for Against the Spreads, I give out bets every Sunday. I'm 10-2 against the spread so far this Sunday, or for Sunday. So if you want to make some money, if you want to cash in, hit me up, and then I'll go ahead.
Are you on Twitter too?
I'm on Twitter, yeah, but I don't really post too much on Twitter just because I'm not a huge Twitter guy.
Okay.
But yeah, I do. Yeah, Instagram for the most part.
All right. Forgotten Athlete Podcast. Appreciate you coming on, Joseph.
I appreciate it.
Some money.
I know, right? No, that's it. Real quick. Somebody said 2012 pass defense. See, I could tell who just came in here. I don't want to go on my rant again.
Here you go.
All right. Don't get me don't get me started, man. Don't get me started. I ain't gonna do it.
You want to piss Croc off, man? Say something about defensive backs in general, anything like that, man. I saw you, that tweet that you said about you have no idea what goes in there. I was like, oh man, like I felt you like typing it fast and just like, oh, somebody must have said something really, really upsetting. Like,
oh man, I just feel like everybody hates DBs. That's what I feel like. And our NorCal Collector guy, NorCal Collector saying he just let me know he hates DBs. He hates DBs. To say the secondary in 2012 sucked, you hate DBs. You hate them. All right, here we go. Forever Faithful coming on. Good morning, man. How you doing? Do you hate DBs? Let me know right now, because I hit you with the. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna bring you back though.
Please say yes.
I ain't gonna lie, Croc. The only thing I did hate was signing Carlos Rogers for that many years for $80 million.
That's fair.
You said Carlos Rogers?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember we signed him for like 80
million? It was 80 million?
Something crazy.
No, I think that was Nate Clements.
Or Clements. Yeah. Clements.
Oh, okay.
Clements.
Yeah. Well, remember, like they've come a long way. Remember Clements and Nnamdi Asomugha. I'm not gonna let.
Yeah, remember that? Come on. Hey, Croc, I wanted to tell you too. Jason, I had hit you up one time. I thought you was Dan. Remember the dude Dan who used to, that's my man Dan. Dan is the man. Remember they used to go in
Oh, you
Waldorf?
talking about
Remember
Dan
Dan?
Root,
Dan?
Dan Root. No,
Yeah.
yo, when you say
I
yeah,
swear I thought he
yo,
was Dan at first.
that's a new one. That's a new one, man. I get John B all the time, but that's a new one, bro. I swear that's a
thought he
new one.
was
I
Dan.
promise
said,
you.
oh.
I promise you.
I
I
said,
cannot move like that young man. I promise you.
yeah, hey, he got the moves. Hey, and another thing, Croc, the reason why is because of that emotion. You remember on New Jack City when Ice-T finally got Nino Brown and he told him, "Ooh, I want to shoot you so bad, my dick is hard." That's where he got
Is
it
that
from.
where Coach Tim McDonald got that from?
Yeah. Hey,
Oh
shout
my
out to
God.
Coach Tim McDonald, man. I played for Clovis West back in like 2000.
He used to coach at
2001.
Edison during that time,
He
huh?
used to coach at Edison. Shout out to Tim McDonald, man. He beat us. And then the next year, we beat De La Salle. My class, I was a bad kid, so I went to like where you from? But my class beat De La Salle the second game after they lost. So we gave them the back-to-back loss after that long streak. Remember? They had like 100 and something games.
Yeah.
They lost, and then they lost to us again the following week.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
People don't know that. But yeah, shout out.
I kind of remember that. That was like my senior year of high school, I think. I graduated in 05, so I think it happened in the 2004 season, I think.
Yep. Around that same time. Nah, I don't hate defensive backs, man. All
right, don't let me, because
but like Jason,
hit that block button, man.
But like Jason said, though, our backs from this year is like night and day compared to 2012, right?
Yeah, it's the depth, right? Like, with Jason Verrett, it's house money, and if you get anything out of Jason Verrett now, and you know what's funny is Samuel Womack didn't do anything to lose his nickel corner spot. It's that Demo's playing so well, and again, that's the depth that I'm talking about. You can literally not lose a step in certain spots, man. And I thought that, again, Cooper Kupp had 12 catches for like 100 something yards. Everything was like 8 yards or whatever. But I thought Demo did as best he could, and he limited those plays. This 49ers defense is too fast for you to try to throw everything in front of them and try to get yards after. They're going to swarm you. That's what makes this defense really special.
And it might be sad too, because Demo might lose his job just because Tart gets healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Ward.
So
Ward.
If we decide to throw Tart in the nickel,
Ward.
You know what I mean?
Ward. Jimmy Ward. Yeah.
Yeah, Ward. Sorry.
But all right,
hey,
man, I appreciate you coming on. I got to get to the next caller though.
All right, bang bang Niner gang, we going Super Bowling.
Let's go.
All right. It's crazy because he just said that, right? And just last week I was like, oh, everybody's up in the arm, but I'm like, listen, y'all, 49ers are going to the playoffs. Like, they're going to win 10, 11 games.
Easily.
And they got on me in the chat, dude. They were like, they're not winning 10. Croc, how can you say that? This team's not winning 11 games. They're not doing this. And
so, you know how everybody,
how about now? Huh?
Everybody loves the spicy Aponte thing, right? And everything. I got so calm after that Denver game, and I was like, not only the 49ers going to beat the Rams, it's like they're going to win the next two. And I was like, and they definitely making the playoffs. I had people in the comments, ain't no way we're beating the Rams. Bro, the Rams are not like that. They are not like that. They don't got any downfield play. And Matthew Stafford ain't right. They don't even have a running game. Like, it was right there in front of you, right? I understand Trent Williams wasn't playing, but they're not like that right now. At this point in the season, they're not. Doesn't mean that that's not what they will be later on if they add, get Van Jefferson back, maybe Odell, but they're not like that. And beating the Falcons barely and then beating the Cardinals, who are a mess, that didn't make me nervous in any way.
Right. We got Richie here. He says, Croc, is East Church Street a cool neighborhood in Stockton? I wouldn't do it.
Bro, ain't there a serial killer in that town now or something like that in Stockton?
So I think they believe that the serial killer is in Stockton. They're stringing together some murders that happened in Oakland, from Oakland to Stockton. Oakland and Stockton is not like hella far apart. It's like 45-minute drive or whatever. All right, but they're stringing, I guess, these murders in the way they're happening. They happen in Oakland the same way as they're happening in Stockton. And so they're saying that it's one person doing them, and they believe it's a serial killer.
Jesus.
So they're kind of ambushing people that are by themselves at night. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people get murdered that way, but it's random. And I will say this. In California, and I see Niners All Damn Day said he got arrested. In California, well, I can't speak for everyone. I know in Stockton, you don't typically see random acts of violence against somebody. Somebody get popped is because they don't like you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's typically not just hella random. So I guess, in Oakland, I think it's the same way too. It's not like somebody's just going to randomly run up on, hey man, you look like John B. Boom, 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 and shoot you, right? Like that's not.
Why would that be the thing that sets you off? Like, did you hate? They don't know. Like, I don't like. Why?
No, I'm just.
Not you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that is random. Or whatever. Hey, Crack, I got like maybe like 5 more minutes for you, bro, because I gotta go get. Oh
no, you're good. We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Here we go. We got two more people that are gonna come on real quick. This one's for the DBs in the 49ers history. They are too critical to success.
Yeah. Oh, so look, no. So basically, what Niner Gang Wolfcast is doing for you is he's giving DBs love and showing you that he doesn't hate them at all. Like, he is not one of the people that hates them.
All right, I love it. Here we go. We got Dion on. Dion, what's good, Dion? How you doing?
Let's go.
What's good, Croc? What's good, Jason? Hey, Jason, I appreciate you for hipping me to 95.7 the game, bro. You the reason I start calling in, and now they fuck with me. So I appreciate you, bro.
Hey man, shout out to them, man. That's such an experience. Yeah. And I went on that show and I told people dead in their face, I was like, they're gonna beat the Rams and they're gonna move, and you know, people didn't like that. I'm sorry that I'm being positive. I can't help it, man.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say this. First of all, Croc, I love DBs. That's my favorite position in football. So that will never be a question with me. The second thing is, I'm gonna say something that people typically know I don't say. Jimmy did okay. He didn't mess it up. That's all we ask.
Why does it have to be like pulling teeth to at least acknowledge that? Like for not just for me. I'm not talking about you, Dion. I'm talking about I think the reason that we have that issue is because we're so used to him screwing up or possibly screwing up during the game that we've gotten frustrated to a point where we almost anticipated. I watch every Niner game anticipating possibly that Jimmy's going to do something stupid. I do. I'm not even lying to you. But
it's not just you. Troy Aikman mentioned it live on air. Like, Jimmy could do well, and then he can do some weird stuff that's just scratching your head. So
head scratching play. I heard that too. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, but what I will say is the number one reason I'm here right now is to tell y'all, Talanoa Hufanga is a fucking star. Respect that man. Throw your T's up. Talanoa Hufanga is the best safety in the league. There is no question, no doubt in my mind. And I heard y'all talking
I still
about
believe Minka Fitzpatrick, but I like where you're going.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Minka Fitzpatrick get washed with Talanoa Hufanga. That's how confident I am in Huff. I feel like he is the best safety in the league. I feel like Huff is being used exactly how I envisioned the Niners using him. And to be honest with you, it's an embarrassment of riches in that defensive backfield. Jason Verrett is coming off the mid. We got Jimmy Ward coming back. We could possibly throw him in the slot, or you could just leave Demo there. And if you have Ward, you don't put Ward right back in coming off a hamstring injury. You work him in. So some plays you'll see Gibson, some plays you'll see Ward. That's a smart thing to do, so that way he doesn't re-injure that hamstring. And honestly, man, this defense is flat out immaculate. There's nothing that they're doing that I can see that's horribly wrong in any way, shape, or form. And the offense just has to keep going. Honestly, I feel like there was at least probably about 21 points left on the field. Not going to lie. Because there were a couple of wide open guys that were there. Jimmy on that pass to Kittle should have hit Brandon Ayuk, who just destroyed Jalen Ramsey's ankles. Like, he just kicked that man died on the field right there. And
Dion, I gotta get you. I gotta get to the next caller because John B's about to get out of here.
John B's about to get out of here. I'm so sick of Croc, bro.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, appreciate you, Dion.
Later, bro. Oh my god.
All right.
Tired of you, man.
Good morning, Mr. Sam. How you doing, man?
What's up, bro?
What's going on with y'all?
I ain't gonna lie. I just watched the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix, and I'm not even trying to be funny with this, but you kind of look like the dude that was ended up being kind of his boyfriend for a little bit, and then he killed him.
Pause. Hold on.
I know, but pause though. Pause.
What's the pause counter up to? I mean, I think we should take a shot every time we get one of those on the show today, man. We'd probably be wasted by 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, 100%. We'll have to do that one night. Maybe after a game, we'll go live together, and we'll have a pause. We'll have the shots ready to go.
Hey, look, I'm gonna make it quick. Shout out to Aponte.
Well, hold on. Before you make it quick, pause. Do you acknowledge that you look like the guy from Jeffrey Dahmer?
No.
All you gotta do is put your hat on and flip it up a little bit.
I ain't watching that. I ain't watching no serial killer. I watched one of his things way back in the day, but I didn't watch this new one. So
he be tripping.
No, I watched one episode. It made my skin crawl, man. I don't know if I got the if I could watch it, man. It's really
I watched all of it. It's actually a pretty good series.
You said it's good?
Yeah, it is good. My wife is more into the my wife is more into that stuff. Like she watches all the my wife watches all the damn murder mystery killing, all the Snapped. My wife, she goes to sleep watching all that stuff. So I'm like, yeah, should I be watching my back when I'm asleep?
Yes.
All right, but so she already knew all about Jeffrey Dahmer. I didn't know much about him, but anyways, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So first, AL Ponte, we went to. I checked your Twitter out. What's the board? Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I put him in. That he gave me like 10 points. I'm tight with this dude. What's up with this dude, man?
I don't know, man. He's just he had bad touchdown luck last year, and you thought that it was going to turn itself around. I do think it was encouraging that he played a full complement of snaps, but then Alexander Madison's the guy that scores. That's really frustrating.
Do you think his shoulder's an issue?
I think he knows how to deal with it. He's been wearing the harness, but the fact that he got out of that game like uninjured, look, man, I'm gonna tell you to run it back. You've got to play him. You drafted him too high to just bench him at this point. I'm sorry, man.
Yep. All right. Next thing. You're gonna be in. I'm going to that game. I'm going to this game with in Carolina. Y'all going? I know you were saying somebody was saying y'all was going.
Croc's probably going.
Nah, originally I was, but you know what I'm saying, this overhead at this gym, I don't know, it's kind of tripping right now. So
I'm doing Atlanta, just because the flight is dumb cheap for Atlanta. Like I think we booked that and it was only like $198 for.
You did text me about that.
Yes, I did. I got left on red. That's cool though.
Atlanta is not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go. Cause my sister, she's staying at like a high rise up there in Atlanta. Maybe I'll just drive out there.
I'm out there. Yeah, I'm out there in Atlanta. I'm definitely going to that one.
Cause last year y'all was in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Philly and I was like, all right, they over there somewhere, but I'm gonna just chill.
No. Just look, just hit.
Hey, trust me, you missed out. Because Ponte was like,
what? Hey man, hold up. I am not about to sit on this podcast and have my character assassinated.
Hugging the bottle, man. He was out of there.
Listen, man. I stopped counting after. Yo, I bought you a shot. It happens so fast, man. And then, like when you get outside out of the bar and that fresh air hits you, all of a sudden things start to go a little like different. I'll say this. I had a good time. I ain't throw up, and I ain't have nobody carrying me around. So that's it. I don't want to hear that. Like, all right. Yeah, you know that didn't happen.
So I'm gonna say last thing is I'm glad I'm going to these easier games because I won't want to leave with if we taking L's.
Well, hopefully don't take an L because I went to a Bears game. I'm like, oh yeah. Then the tsunami came and I was like,
No L to Atlanta. That's dead. That's all the way dead.
No.
Good teams always destroy the bad teams.
Yep.
So gotta do it. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, Sam.
All
right, man. Later, man.
And John B, I know you gotta get out of here, man, but I appreciate you being, good with your time and everything. Can on the way out, can you sing a little?
No, absolutely not.
You're not gonna sing?
No, no, man, no singing. I'm tired of you, bro. But thanks for having me on. It's been a little while. Caught me sometimes when I was sleeping and I wake up and I see the text. I didn't want you to think I was dissing you.
It is later in the day now, so we good.
Yeah, we good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, Jason. Let's get out of here.
All right, appreciate you.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. What's good with y'all? I'm about to get out of here too. I got locked on 49ers in about 45 minutes. But and I wanted to clean up before I did that because it's like I go from one day to the next, but I already got my lift in. You feel me? I'm feeling real strong right now. Did the shoulders, you know what I'm saying? Shoulders looking a little extra bulky, but not really, but kind of, but not really. True. Don't listen to what people say. Listen, man, John B was that guy. I ain't gonna lie. Here we go. Darius Mills here, Atlanta. How do I link up with y'all for tailgating? If I go, I got to get permission from the wife, man. I got all these, man, between the gym, the house mortgage, and then I got to pay property tax this month. Hitting your boy's pockets just a little bit. I ain't going to lie, y'all. So I got to go to California no matter what. So I'll probably be at the Chiefs game. Not sure, but I'm definitely going to the LA Rams. I'll be all caught up on everything by then. So LA Rams, 49ers, I'm going to that at the end of the month. We'll see if I can make Atlanta. We'll see if I can make some shake. My sister stayed there. My sister lives in Atlanta, so at least I don't got to buy I don't gotta get a room or nothing like that. So, save a couple $100, tell my wife that. So we'll see. But how you link up with us? Shoot, man, just DM. For sure gonna be if I go, I will be at the road, the 49ers rush with John Chapman. So everybody links up there. So it's a mortgage, bro, it's Arkansas. Yeah. So yeah, I don't pay much more, but just when you combine everything, right? When you combine my gym, when you combine the mortgage, and then when you combine the property tax, that alone, just to be transparent, that's almost $10,000. All right, so for those three combined, so yeah, mortgage is not that much, but you know what I'm saying, just different responsibilities. Then you start factoring in cars. That's not including any utilities for any of the buildings. Like, you know what I'm saying? It can get a little pricey. You feel me? It can get a little pricey. So, but yeah, Arkansas, love it. Love it. Love living here. Love living here. Love it. Good conversation. Fun conversation. Appreciate everybody that came in here. And I appreciate everybody that doesn't read a title and then just assume like it's doom and gloom with what the conversation will be. Because, man, I ain't gonna get into it. But yeah. O-line is trash. Where can I get this shirt? So this shirt, I actually bought this shirt. I think there's some on the back. It was like a what do you call it? A urban store. What do you call those stores? But anyways, I got the shirt. Was it when I was in Mobile, Alabama? I was in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl, and I just needed a shirt. So I went to like one of the little stores in the mall, and it was one of them that got the, they got the Supreme, and then they had this. And I'm like, well, it's red. I got a 49er hat on. It goes with it. So I ended up getting it that way. But I couldn't tell you what the hell it is or where it's from or anything like that. And I've lost some weight, so now it fits me good. So, because it was a little snug at first, you feel me? But I'm good now. What city are you in, Croc? I live in Monticello, Arkansas. So I'm like southeast Arkansas. I live like 30 minutes, 40 minutes from Mississippi, 40 minutes from Louisiana. So I'm in the dirty South. And one thing I've learned about Arkansas, there's kind of like two different versions of Arkansas. You got like everything above Little Rock, which is more like Midwest. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of more of a Midwest vibe. And, you kind of get to, you got like kind of like Tennessee, because Memphis is kind of right there. Then you got Missouri, you feel me? That's up there, and then you have everything below Little Rock. It's the dirty South. It's the dirty South. It's almost like living in two different states down there. And it's not like a big state, but it's definitely like living in two different states. Yeah. I try to get the bots up out of here, but oops. No! Did I block a person? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, I didn't. I blocked a little bot. There's some places in Rogers, I'm not going to lie. I mean, not in Rogers, in Arkansas. I ain't taking my black ass to some of these places in Arkansas. I think they got like the KKK capital somewhere up here. Somewhere. It's like northern Arkansas. Like, man, I'm cool. I'll stay my ass out here. For surely. For sure. Not too far from, I ain't too far from Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm not too far from Monroe, Louisiana. Matter of fact, pulling up to my house, I see the sign for Monroe, Louisiana. It's like less than 80 miles. Less than 80 miles. It's like 70 miles or something like that to Monroe, Louisiana. So I ain't too far. But anyways, man, appreciate all y'all, man, coming in here today. Tomorrow, I will have my buddy on who, talks a lot about the Panthers. He's going to let us know everything that's going on pertaining to Panthers and where they're at right now. Also, he has an interesting story on how he became a Panthers fan. So I think that's going to be something that's really cool to tap into. He used to be a fan of another team. All right, but I think the bots are kicking me out now. Appreciate everybody that tuned in today. And see y'all tomorrow, man. Same time, same place. And I'm out. Peace, nigga.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Croc Talk TV podcast. Peace.